I met the live person from that story.
That liberated.
Yeah. And you literally fight in the Philippines. Gosh.
And there was 150 more there.
You know, you
And I had
put
to
your
tell,
life
I had to
together.
tell my
Shoot
friends
up.
that is the real
Wow.
beard. He's not
Yeah,
wearing fake
that was the
beard.
real beard.
That's the
It
real
came
beard.
daylight
My
and they went
original
and hid
beard
in the
went
basement.
down to here.
I
Wow.
heard that.
It's-
And one day,
I'm so pleased to meet you,
he
sir.
cut it off.
15 years old when she was released from there by him.
Wow.
And they got to meet last year.
I never met her while she was there, but last year, or about 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I found out that she was living in Missouri.
And what it was a lady, and he helped to liberate the Santo Tomas University in Manila.
Wow.
Okay. And he was 18 at the time. And this lady that called me, she said, "My name is Georgia," and I was 15 when he liberated Santo Tomas. And she was there with her parents
Now, is Santo Tomas in Manila?
in Manila.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's not
And she said, I was interned there when they came in and rescued. And so the light bulb started going off in my head, and I says, I'm going to get these two together.
Very good.
And we did.
Now, did she on the phone or?
Oh, I took him over there
Oh my. To where?
to Joplin, where she lives.
Oh, she lives in Joplin.
Yeah, and
Missouri.
She looked like her camera.
Yeah. No. You look very good. You're 92 years old, right?
94.
94.
Wow. Oh, I
You'll
told
be
my husband.
95 in September,
Oh my God.
September when?
25th.
I'm 30th. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at this.
She's 18.
Wow.
It was incredible to get those two together.
Oh,
Wow.
I can imagine.
Yes. That is a good story.
Yes, it's really fascinating that she would remember that and remember him.
Yeah, she just turned 91, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
I think so.
in that range. Yeah,
That's too long for me to remember.
yeah, 91 or 92. But
Yeah.
so Oscar, how old were you when you entered the service?
Pardon?
How old were you when you entered the service? You
I was-
you were in the Army, right?
I was 18.
18 years old. Okay, and did you spend the whole war in the Philippines?
No.
No.
I didn't.
How long were you in the Philippines?
Well, I was there more than I was anyplace else.
Okay. My wife was telling me that you had something to do with General MacArthur there. So
Yeah.
Did you get to know him at all?
No.
No.
You didn't get to know him.
Yeah, he or General Patton were pretty.
He was all in his little taboo, and that's all he was.
I
He
think
didn't come out.
I think General MacArthur and General Patton were pretty focused on themselves. They were big
We
personalities.
were walking down a street going to the Manila Hotel, and he was walking right beside me, or I was walking right beside him,
Right.
whichever you want to call it.
Right.
And he hung his toe on a barbed wire and grabbed my shoulder to keep from falling.
Wow.
And he just looked at me and grinned and put that pipe in his mouth and sucked another mouthful of smoke, and
Now,
we went on walking.
was this when General MacArthur went back to the Philippines? Because I know he was there originally, and then he left, and he had to argue with the president so that he could go back and liberate the Philippines.
This was the when we first went back to the
there,
Philippines. He was with us,
Now,
with my outfit when we went back to
how
the
much did
Philippines.
you fight while you were there? Were you because I know they had a little bit of a Philippine resistance movement that our military worked with there. What was your experience there?
the Filipinos would do anything in the world for an American soldier.
Right.
There's always walking up to you. You want whiskey, Joe? You want this? You want that? If you said yes, about 5 minutes they'd be back with you.
Well, how dangerous was it to be in Manila at that time?
Well,
I mean, did the Americans pretty well control Manila?
we was pretty well had it under control, but you know, there's always snipers hiding.
What was that about? How did that happen?
We were just had strong points set up in the places here and there, and we happened to be one of the unlucky bunch.
That they attacked?
There was about 20 some of us, and we from I was on guard, and about 2 o'clock I saw a tree out there in front of me. It kept getting bigger, and about 130 or 40 of them
Wow.
that night,
Now-
from 2 o'clock in the morning until daylight.
Oh my gosh! And were you guys in a barricade or some kind of fortress or protection, or were you just out in the open there?
I'm hard of hearing.
I'm just saying, did you have some kind of barricade or protection from bullets and stuff, or were you just out in the open?
We were in the house,
Okay.
and we had built a rock wall about this high on the front porch.
And that's it.
That was it.
That's not much protection.
And about 2 o'clock, then that tree started getting bigger.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all whatever you want to call it broke loose.
And you guys had about 20 guys in your
There was
group?
about 25 or 30, I don't remember exactly. And when it come daylight, after the patrols come through and searched the basement,
Happy to get captured, and I mean, at that point, were the Japanese losing the war in that area, or?
they were losing it. There was we only lost 2 men, and they lost 150.
Wow.
That is
Right
amazing.
there in that one spot.
So, how many years were you in the Philippines, and specifically Manila, before you were transported someplace else?
I
Don't remember the years when you actually were there. You remember when you got to the Philippines?
yeah, I remember going in on we landed on a beach there, and
This is Leyte Gulf.
we headed.
Leyte Gulf.
We made 96, I think, miles in 80 some hours
Wow.
across enemy territory.
Yeah, it's not easy to make mileage.
We had run into the resistance. We wipe them out. We go on. MacArthur had said that he wanted the 1st Cav Division to be the first American soldier back in Manila when we started taking it over.
And when they say cavalry division, you guys were motorized, right? You guys weren't riding horses.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, you were
We
motorized.
we never saw a horse
Yeah,
after we left Fort Riley, Kansas.
right. Okay. So,
And, we made 68 or 88 or some. It's been a long time.
yeah, no, it has. It has been a
And,
long time.
We made it in less hours than taking an hour a mile. We made it in, I think it was 68 or something like that hours that we, between the time we left the beach and by the time we got into Manila.
Did was that the most difficult part? Was landing on the Philippines and establishing yourself there?
Yeah,
that probably...
well, it would have been, but well, when we landed, I only heard one shot fired from
There was no resistance
right
initially.
there. There was no resistance at all there when we landed on that part.
But as you traveled the 68 miles or so, or 90 miles, there was resistance.
There was resistance.
Okay.
We every little while we'd get bogged down and have to shoot our way out.
How many men do you think you lost on that landing?
None.
None.
Wow.
Wow. No close calls?
We never lost a man.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
As far as I can remember, I know there was more than that, but I only remember 2 guys.
Well, the guy that was on the machine gun,
I was on the machine gun then,
Uh-huh.
and I stayed on it for about 30 minutes. I had been on the machine gun for about 30 minutes, and I was getting kind of wore out.
Sure.
And I traded off with the fella, pushed the butterfly, and it said, "Trrr," and splattered and blew his whole bottom jaw
Oh my God.
off.
That's
Completely.
like a fatal injury. I mean, when you lose your bottom jaw, you are in big
And-
trouble.
Had I stayed on there another 10 seconds,
You would have been the one.
I would have been the one that lost his
Oh,
bottom
man.
jaw.
you're too ornery.
But
Let me ask you, culturally, when you were in the Philippines, what were the Philippine people like?
well, I have no way of explaining how much they were pleased that we were in there. We'd just be sitting in our foxhole and a Filipino would come up and say, "You want whiskey? You want what you want? If you want anything," and you say, I want a 5th whiskey." 5 minutes later, they'd come in they'd turn up with a 5th of whiskey or two 5ths of whiskey.
They just were really happy to have
They
you
were
guys
really happy.
Let me ask you too, is